Welcome, everyone, to your new moon in Libra Tarotscopes for the new moon in Libra that we'll have on October 21st. I hope everyone's doing well. This presentation is called Balanced Expansion because Jupiter, planet of expansion, growth, and abundance, is aspected in this lunation, which we're going to talk all about. But first, welcome to my channel if you're new here, and of course, welcome back if you're returning. I'm Joshua the Psychic, and you can check out my website, psychicsun.com. If there's anything I can do for you. Also, be sure to check out your written horoscopes for this lunation. The link to that is in the description below. So here we have our new moon, a snapshot of it, just to give you an overview. You got Venus by itself here at 9 degrees. You got a grand water trine. You got Mars and Mercury, both in the sign of Scorpio, conjunct at 20 degrees, forming a trine with Jupiter in Cancer, which is forming a trine with Saturn in Pisces. So we have a grand water trine. That means this lunation, we have a surplus of water energy that we get to play with. We can put it toward our home, our family, our emotional security, those we love, finding love, self-love, transformation, rebirth, sex. You could put it toward creativity, imagination, healing, visualization. This is a very good new moon to visualize what it is that you want and plant those seeds for whatever it is you want to manifest. Now that Jupiter at 24 degrees, unfortunately, is making a square to the sun and the moon in Libra, because Jupiter is in Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal water sign. Libra is a cardinal air sign. So they're both initiating signs, and they're making a 90-degree angle. So there's a square there, which means there may be some challenges involving Jupiter. We may be prompted to overextend ourselves, right? We may be needing to really look at the fine print to make sure we're not promising more than we can deliver, that we're not going beyond our means. Now that Jupiter is also making a square to Chiron in Aries, so there may be some relationship stuff that comes up, especially in terms of self-assertion, knowing where you stand. I think with Chiron in Aries retrograde, a lot of people-pleasing behavior may come to the surface. You may realize that this is not serving you whatsoever. So there's a little bit of a balancing act that we got to play with this new moon. So let's break it down. This new moon in Libra on the 21st of October, a new balance is born. Fresh cycles in love, beauty, and connection invite peace, key Libra word, through truth and mutual respect. So for all of us, this is like a reset in terms of our relationships. Now, the new moon is opposite Chiron in Aries. So not just is it a reset in our relationship, but it's going to be an opportunity for us to heal our relationship stories. If you say, I always go for straight for the guy who's absolutely wrong for me, for instance, well, this is an opportunity for you to change that relationship story, right? Old wounds around self-assertion may surface with the opposition with Chiron, but that can be healed through honest dialogue and the courage to be fully seen. So this is sort of like a come to Jesus moment in which with that opposition with Chiron, we may feel a little bit raw, a little bit vulnerable. And I would suggest that you come clean with yourself and have a heart-to-heart with yourself first. So then you're able to then share how you feel with your partner. As I said, we have this beautiful grand water trine among Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and Mars, which are conjunct. So emotional wisdom flows. Compassion, discipline, and strategy unite, turning feeling into focused action. So with this grand water trine, we have a surplus of water energy, a surplus of emotional energy. You can put this toward whatever it is that you want. Say you want to put it toward your emotional security or your home or your family or your relatives. It could be your relationship, your love, your connection, sex, transformation, rebirth, your subconscious, creativity, imagination, visualization. I would say this new moon is really good for planting seeds because we have that watery grand trine, and we're going to be able to really put a lot of emotional energy toward what it is that we want. And I would really suggest that you visualize how you want things to go. Utilize this grand trine. Get it locked in your subconscious. But the thing is, when you're visualizing, you got to do what you can to reach a high state, a level of intensity. Because whatever it is that you're visualizing, theoretically, it has to trump previous things that may have traumatized you or may have made you think that things are a certain way, right? You have to visualize things going your way, but you got to make sure that you're bringing it to this high point. That's why if you can get into that ecstatic state in your visualization, that's going to help. That's going to help you manifest what you want. Now, as I said, we have this new moon squaring Jupiter in Cancer. So there may be this pull between our heart, how we feel, and our duty, what we believe we ought to do, right? Also, because it's that Jupiter in Cancer, it could be a matter of it's between you and your partner. That's one. And that square is your emotional security. So there might be something that needs an adjustment there, right? Something will probably pop and it will demand change, as squares usually do. So the point of this square with Jupiter is to expand, but to not go so fast that you lose your footing. This Jupiter square is going to help us to grow, but you want to make sure you're measured and logical. So grow wisely, let generosity flow, but not at the cost of balance. So when we have Jupiter involved in an aspect, we can overestimate exactly what we can do. So don't overestimate your means or other people's, right? Just bear that in mind. And that's going to be the focus this presentation when we go through the new moon for every single sign. So this new moon in Libra will be at 28 degrees. So find out where 28 degrees of Libra falls in your chart. That's where you're going to be up for new beginnings. That's the area of your life in which there's going to be a reset for you that you want to take advantage of. And I would also, because of that grand water trine, water is your friend. Drink a lot of water, take longer showers, take baths, go swimming, anything you can do with water. Even if you are not around water, you putting yourself in water, you could conceivably, I don't know, buy a fountain, right? You want to definitely tap into that water energy as much as possible. You have to mind the trine, as they say in astrology, because the grand trine is so beautiful that we can take it for granted, right? We might not recognize, we have all of this. So definitely work with that water energy this new moon. So we'll start at the very beginning, a very good place to start with the sign of Aries. So Aries, of course, this new moon in Libra is hitting your 7th house because Libra is your opposite sign. So this is really about your relationships, Aries, or Aries rising, fresh starts in love or business partnerships. So you want to seek balance through understanding. This is a really great time to get to understand where your partner or partners are coming from, what they want, and how that relates to what you want and how you can meet in the middle. Now, Jupiter is in your 4th house, making a square to this new moon. So family or emotional ties may stretch you too hard, right? Too far. You need to make sure that you're setting boundaries and you're recognizing what you can do may not be what you want to do, right? So there may be a need for you to protect your peace this new moon, especially around emotional security. So there may be a family matter that you need to tend to. There may be something between your emotional security and your partner, right? But the big thing for you is to give from the heart, but protect your peace. Because with that square to Jupiter, you want to make sure that you're feeling emotionally secure, that you're feeling all tucked in and taken care of by the divine mother. That's going to be very, very key to you succeeding this new moon. Now, the card chosen for you was Temperance. And temperance is a balance of patience, temperament, and tolerance. It's about keeping the even flow of emotions from you out into the universe, irrespective of what you're feeling. You got to allow yourself to go with the flow and to say your piece. This is a great card for journaling or talking or venting. Sometimes we do need to vent, but we also need to know when to get out of the dirty bathwater. The Temperance card is asking you to release how you feel. Let it flow from your body. Release it out into the universe. Let it go. Don't hold on. Even if you're consulting with just yourself, that's fine, but let it flow. The Temperance card is about finding the right combination of things to make you well or happy. So this new moon for you, not only is it a fresh start in terms of your relationships, it's going to give you an opportunity to really make your life just a very joyous experience every single day. Like, what do you need to do on a regular basis that keeps you in equilibrium, that keeps you happy, that keeps you eager, right? This is a very, very positive card, especially in terms of expansion and growth. This is a time for you to not just stay your peace diplomatically and to flow with your feelings, but it's also a time in which you can really expand in entrepreneurship, publishing, public speaking, broadcast, anything that allows you to experience the world and let the world experience you more. Even foreign travel or foreign affairs may be relevant to you this new moon. So Taurus, this new moon will be hitting your 6th house. That's the house of work, health, your systems, your routines, your processes, the nuts and bolts of your daily operations. So you're going to get an opportunity to change the systems around you. This might mean you get a new job. This might mean you set out on a new self-improvement program, maybe a new workout regime, maybe a new diet. But the whole point of this new moon is for you to refine your daily flow. How can you get your life running like a well-oiled machine? Do you need to get up earlier? Do you need to make sure you have breakfast? Do you do better with a workout in the morning? Do you do better with a little bit more sleep? Do you need to go to bed earlier, right? How can you get things running beautifully? So every day is like a symphony, right? Things are just really working well. So refine your daily flow. Health and habits align when you treat work as devotion, not duty. The 6th house is also about service. It's how we serve other people. And it's a great opportunity for you to recognize that being in service is actually being in service to yourself, right? Because theoretically, we're all one. So when you're in service to somebody else, you're really in service to yourself. You might not be in the same position as the person to whom you're in service, but maybe there is some kind of parallel, right? Maybe that was you in a past life, right? Maybe you are even this life. Maybe you were that person previously, right? So when you allow yourself to lean into service, you may feel actually more free, because whether you know it or not, in being of service to somebody else, you're actually caring for yourself. Maybe an alternative self that you have, or an unlived self, right? But when you allow yourself to lean into service, that's going to make this new moon a lot easier for you, as well as when you clean up your health, work, routines, etc. Now, Jupiter in Cancer is making a square to this new moon in your 6th, and it's in your 3rd. So there's going to be a lot of ideas, probably a lot of information. You want to make sure that you're differentiating between useful and unuseful, because you're probably going to get a lot of information coming at you, right? So communicate clearly under this lunation. There may be a lot of stuff going on in the work front, right? Or in your daily life because of that square. So communicate clearly. And although you may be really enthusiastic, you want to make sure that you're grounded and you're allowing yourself to not scatter your energy. You want to recognize that with this square, there could be a lot of information. And if you can just slow down a little bit and really get practical, because that's what this new moon is about. Okay, well, what can we do now? What's the most important step forward? And don't be afraid to say no to invitations, because there's going to be a lot of invitations that you get, including an invitation to an argument, like a symbolic invitation, as well as literal invitations. Hey, we're doing this. Do you want to go? I would say that with Jupiter in your third, if it's not a hell yeah, make it a no. Now, Taurus, the card we pulled for you is the moon card. And I do recognize that last time we had Tarotscopes with our full moon in Aries, I believe you got the moon card too. So this card is really suggesting that you take a beat and you let yourself go through process, right? Maybe it's Uranus in your sign that is calling for you to take a little bit of time before you actually move forward. The moon card counsels passivity. So you may actually be getting so much information this new moon with that third house Jupiter that putting things into effect now would be a fool's errand. So I would say that because there's going to be so much information that you get this new moon, it's going to take you a little bit of time to process it. For instance, say you get 3 opportunities with the moon card and with this square, it's better for you to really just wait it out and put them on ice. Try not to say yes or no straight away. Try to give yourself a little bit of space if you have to make any decisions during this time. The moon card also suggests not just being passive, but going inward and recognizing how you feel, going beyond logic, right? I think that makes a lot of sense because with Jupiter in your third house, there's a surplus of logic energy. Like you're going to have a lot of information, a lot of logical ideas coming your way. And the moon card is saying, well, relax, lean into your art. That is the best thing to do with the moon card. Get extra sleep, work on programming your subconscious, right? But I would say take a beat with the moon card. And when the dust settles and you have peace of mind, well, then you can make decisions about all that information that you got. You'll be in a better headspace if you give yourself a few days. So Gemini, this new moon is really very fun for you. It's in your 5th house. You and Libra get along very well, fellow air signs that you are. New creative sparks and romantic renewal. So you may find yourself really inspired about something new this new moon. The 5th house has to do with your creativity, your creations, things you really love, things you really enjoy, things that light you up, including romance. Now, it's romance, the 5th house. In fact, some people call it the house of true love. But true love does not a partnership make, right? You could have true love with somebody, but they may be a terrible partner, right? When you're talking about the 5th house in terms of romance, it's more light. It's more like a high school romance. Like you're both in high school. You don't know what your plans are. So it's probably a better idea to not be too serious when you're dealing with a 5th house relationship. In order to make a 5th house person that you really, really like a relationship, 7th house, you got to go to the 6th house, meaning your lifestyles have to be compatible. So let pleasure be your teacher, not your distraction. You could be having a lot of fun creating this new moon. I would say it's a great time for a fresh start in terms of creative projects or just your creativity, maybe even your children. One of your creations, right? If you have kids, this could be a fresh start in your relationship with them. Now, Jupiter is in your 2nd house. And that's really good, actually, because you could be making a lot of money with Jupiter in your 2nd house aspected this new moon. But your generosity could strain your finances. So you got to make sure that you're not overestimating what you can do, right? Might always be a good thing to live below your means if you can swing it. Never a bad idea. Still, you want to make sure you're investing in what truly feeds your joy and confidence. So that 2nd house, it's not just about your money, it's about your values and your self-worth. So if you are looking to determine, oh, do I invest in this? Well, Is it aligned with your values? And is it going to enhance your self-worth? Then it's a go. I think that's a green light. But if you don't feel that it aligns with your values and it's going to make you feel worse, well, obviously, don't invest in it. That's foolish, right? The card we chose for you is Two of Cups. So this is truth coming together. I share my truth with you. That's what the Two of Cups is about. And this is a beautiful card. It can be any form, any relationship that you want. But love is on the horizon. It could be a friendship. It could be a romantic partner. But the Two of Cups is about sharing your truth. And I'd say, especially with that Jupiter in the second house, really open up your throat chakra and start communicating your truth. That's only going to invite more prosperity and more fun into your life. But Two of Cups is very, very positive. I would say love is on the horizon for you. Share your truth with other people and just make sure that you're not going beyond your stretch too much. You don't want to squeeze yourself. Be a little bit far-sighted this new moon in order to make the most of it. So Cancer, this new moon in Libra is hitting your fourth house. This is the house that your sign is associated with. It's the fourth house of home, family, emotional security. So it's a new beginning for you in all of these realms. So it's a very important new moon for you. It's going to be an opportunity for you to begin again at home. What is home for you? What makes you feel at home within the self? Because we carry our home around with us wherever we go, right? An emotionally secure person is going to feel as comfortable in a hotel, for instance, as she would at home in her bedroom, right? So this is an opportunity for you, Cancer, to redefine comfort and emotional security on your own balanced terms. There might be things now that you need in order to be comfortable and emotionally secure that you didn't need before. And you may need to communicate that with the people you live with, right? Or your partner. Now, Jupiter is in your sign, so you are the celestial favorite all year long. This is great. Into 2026, into spring, summer 2026. So you got Jupiter in your sign until then, until summer 2026. So this is a great time for you to go out on a limb, to take a leap of faith, right? You're very, very lucky. So if you've been wanting to make some changes, this might be the year for you to do so. You're expanding fast. You just got to make sure with this square, this new moon, that you're not going too fast, right? You want to slow your pace. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to keep up with how you want to expand. You want to make sure body, mind, and soul or spirit are all aligned. Sometimes we push ourselves so fast mentally or emotionally that our bodies can't keep up. So it's going to be very important for you to slow your roll and allow yourself to take a little bit of a breath, right? It might be a good idea to diversify your attention, putting energy toward work, putting energy toward your relationships, to your family, etc. Growth lands best when grounded in self-care. So I'd say the most important thing with this first house, fourth house square is to make sure that you're recognizing that you are growing and you're getting bigger, and that may require some kind of adjustment on the home front. You may need to communicate to the people at home, hey, mommy is moving in this direction now. She's not going to be around Sunday night, whatever it might be, right? Or it might be the opposite. It might be a matter of your feeling as if you absolutely need more time at home, right? And then you have to then allow yourself to assert that to somebody else, right? But there's some kind of balancing act that's going to be required. And that is interesting because you got Two of Pentacles, which is exactly that, a balancing act as the card chosen for you. So Two of Pentacles is about the law of opposites. You work and then you play, right? Opposites. And it also is really about making sure that you're coping well with demands and allowing yourself to be flexible. This juggler needs to be flexible. So you need to be flexible in juggling multiple priorities. I think that probably looking at this, it's probably a matter between your duties at home and how you may want to assert yourself or how you may want to expand, right? That might be where you need to balance. Two of Pentacles is also about enjoying your life, enjoying your work, whistling while you work. No matter what it is that you do, there's a way of doing it that is fun. So find that way of balancing things. In terms of relationships, the Two of Pentacles is about keeping score. So even though you're probably feeling very, very generous, you want to make sure you're balancing things. Two of Pentacles is a little tit for tat, as is Libra, where this new moon is. So bear that in mind in terms of your relationships. So Leo, this new moon is hitting your third house. I'm really excited for you. This is a nice new moon for you. It's a lot. The third house encompasses a lot. It is your mindset. It's your communication. It's where you go on a regular basis. It's your neighborhood, your neighbors, your siblings, your cousins, short distance trips, right? There's a lot, but it is about logic and how you think and who you talk to, essentially. So words will create harmony for you. This is an opportunity for you to refresh your mindset and to reconnect through dialogue and curiosity. So your mind is really ready to learn some new things, to go some new places. And you're probably going to have a nice refreshed mind. There might be something that you've let go of recently, mentally, that was like an albatross around your neck. I'm guessing that's the case. And if not, well, what albatross needs to be taken off your neck so you can have that peace of mind? I would say with the third house new moon, make peace of mind your primary goal. And once you get that peace of mind, then see where you want to go, where you want to direct your focus. Now, Jupiter is in your 12th house. It's hidden away in your 12th house. So this is a time in which your imagination is extremely active. You have also a certain protection around you. Like there's a sense subconsciously that you're going to be okay. That being said, you also need to be logical. Just because you know you'll be okay, Jupiter in the 12th house, doesn't mean you should run across the street without looking, right? You have to be logical. You got to protect yourself still. So dreams and intuition swell. That Jupiter in the 12th house is really broadening your subconscious. You might be extremely creative. You may be very imaginative this new moon. But you want to avoid escapism. You don't want to go too far. You want to make sure that you're keeping things logical. I would say, make sure the logical stuff is taken care of, the stuff that is going to give you peace of mind once it's done, and then allow yourself to escape a little bit, right? Use faith as structure, not retreat. So you may want to, especially now that Saturn is back in Pisces for its stay until it re-enters Aries. It's important to be serious about your faith, about your spirituality. So how can you incorporate faith and your spirituality, maybe your surrender to a higher power? How can you communicate that to yourself on a regular basis? How can you align with your faith and your spirituality on a regular basis? Does this mean that you need a spiritual group to go to, the third house, right? There also might be a little bit of a challenge between what you consciously think, third house, and what you subconsciously believe, 12th house. So you got to make sure that you are aligned. Like, do you believe that you're going to be able to get what it is that you want? Because this new moon will call attention to what discrepancies there may be between your conscious mind, third house, and your subconscious mind, the 12th. You want to get both to align. Utilize Jupiter in your 12th house by focusing on what you want, visualizing how you want things to go, right? Because you can really work with that Jupiter. But if you're feeling as if things are not coming along, or if people are not hearing you and you're not communicating clearly, stop right there and really have a few conversations with yourself. Because what might be happening is that your own reservations are being reflected back to you by other people. And with that Jupiter in the 12th house, you're going to really do well by spending a little bit of time alone, doing things behind the scenes, being discreet, right? Now, the card chosen for you, I love this. It's 9 of Cups. So this is the cat who ate the canary. The 9 of Cups is called the wish card. It suggests that you will get your wish. Now, some people might say that people get the 9 of Cups when their subconscious wish comes true, right? So this is an opportunity for you really to think about what it is that you want, what's really, really, really going to make you happy. Now, if you have pain from the past, say a past relationship, and I say this because the sun and the moon in Libra are opposing Chiron in Aries. So there may be some relationship story that comes up. And if you haven't purged that, if you haven't exorcised that, if you have not let that go out of your body, you may wish to return to the scene of the crime so then you can act out, right? Sometimes we need to act it out. And that's why we put ourselves in these old scenarios that are unfulfilling, because we want to say our piece. We want to have a witness. We want to express how we felt before. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're doing your homework, that you're releasing any energy that might be from the past, so you're not prone to repeating it. With 9 of Cups, this is just, pure indulgent self-satisfaction. And I'd say with Jupiter in your 12th house, this might be you just being happy as a clam by yourself. The 9 is a solo card, right? He's by himself. The 9 in the Tower is related to the Hermit. So this isn't about necessarily loving other people and enjoying happily ever after. This is you being really, really chuffed with the way things have gone. So you may find that pleasing yourself is the easiest thing to do. So if you can be happy on your own, that might be a good way of playing this lunation. Do what fulfills you. Also, I'd say with the 9 of Cups, this is a very indulgent card. So you want to indulge yourself, but you also want to make sure that you're not going too far. With that new moon in the 3rd, you want to make sure all your ducks are in a row, and then what you're doing at the end of the day is logical. So Virgo, this new moon is hitting your 2nd house of money, self-worth, and talent. So you get to define your worth this transit. And that means that this could be a new job opportunity, something that you decide to do that's going to bring more money into your life. And this might be through using a talent that may have been latent for many years, right? The 2nd house has to do with your talent. And by virtue of it being about your talent, it's about your money. In the old days, talent, the word talent was like a unit of measure. So you would give a talent for something else. In this day and age, we use our talents to make talent or to make money. So you want to explore your talents. There might be a new talent that you explore. There's a fresh start for you around income and self-worth to support long-term balance. So this is a great new moon for you to find a new job if you're looking for one. It's a great new moon for you to start something that allows you to explore your talent, skills, and abilities. And it's also a very good new moon for you to say your piece. Know your worth and don't be afraid to eat alone, right? Know what you bring to the table. Because at the end of the day, the 2nd house is really about what you have, what you possess. And I would say also with the 2nd house, mind your body. Make sure that it's feeling all tuned up. This could be a new beginning for you in terms of your physicality and your sensuality. Now, there is a square with Jupiter in your 11th house. So whereas the 2nd house has to do with the money that you make, your talents, your skills, the 11th house has to do with your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, your ideals, as well as your friends, network, and community. Now, there's a square there, and squares make things happen. So there could be something that happens that triggers a financial opportunity through your network or through a friend, right? Or even a hope or a dream might get funding, right? So although it's a square, there could be something that's really, really great. However, because there is a square, there may be some challenges. The 11th house has to do with your friends, your community. So allies with Jupiter in your 11th may promise more than they can deliver, or a friend might say, we'll do this and we'll do that. Be wise. They might be getting ahead of themselves, right? Likewise, it could be a hope or a dream or a wish or an ideal that you have that's going to cost a lot of money. That's going to require you to spend a lot, right? So you want to make sure that you're balancing things out and you're not putting yourself in a compromising position. So collaborate with other people with clarity and grounded optimism. You want to be grounded, but you want to be optimistic. And what a perfect card for you. We got Queen of Pentacles, and she is indeed grounded and optimistic, but she's very slow to move. Now, I would say that you really want to play Queen of Pentacles this lunation by maintaining status quo, by keeping things grounded and secure, not making any moves until you're absolutely sure. The Queen of Pentacles, as well as the second house, are all about holding on to what you have, right? And with that 11th house, there may be wild plans and schemes that people bring to your attention. They may be a friend that needs money, or a group or a class you want to join, and that might be costly. It might be a good idea for you to just really think about your values and your self-worth, i.e., okay, well, is this investment aligned with my values? And is it going to increase my self-worth and perhaps your income, right? So you want to be practical. And I would say that with Queen of Pentacles, if it's not 100% absolutely sign me up, then don't do it, right? You want to ideally maintain what you already have in place. And if that means taking a little bit of time to make your decisions, so be it, right? You want to be practical and grounded and also optimistic. So Libra, you're the star of the show. Happy new moon in your sign. The new moon in Libra, of course, is hitting your first house of identity. It's yourself. And this is really, really important. I always say first house first, meaning that whatever it is that you want, you have to first see yourself as the type of person who would attract it, who would have what you want, right? So you have to be the version of you who has what it is that you want. Because when you're manifesting, you're not calling in something so much as calling in or aligning with the version of you that already has what it is that you want. So you get an opportunity to really refresh your personality. And your personality, of course, creates your personal reality. So this is a fresh start for you in terms of your personality, your self-concept, how you see things, your perception. It's your personal reset. Reinvent how you show up, lead with grace, and define your desires anew. You're going through changes, right? It's your birthday. It's your solar return. So what new desires do you have? Are you still invested in what you had been before? What's going to make you really happy? What do you really desire? And that word desire is really key because Scorpio is very prominent in this chart because we have it at 20 degrees, Mars and Mercury, both in the sign of Scorpio. So definitely think about what you want now. What's going to make you happy now? Now, Jupiter is in your 10th house, so you can't lose when it comes to your career. You're very, very lucky professionally during this period. In fact, there might be so much career growth that it's hard for you to get back to you, right? Because there is a square between your first house of identity and your 10th house of career. So there might be some push and pull between your personality and your profession. So career growth surges, but avoid taking on too much. This might be an opportunity for you to really assert yourself, especially with this new moon in your first house. I'm sorry, I can't work a 90-hour week. I can't do that. I can't do that this week. right? Or I'm going to need an assistant, whatever it might be, right? Expansion thrives when balance leads the way. So although you might be able to really cut cake in your career, are you being compensated for it? Is it fulfilling to you? Does it align with who you want to be? The most ideal version of yourself? Because there may be some conflict between your personality or your ideal personality and what you do professionally. So this might mean that you decide to move into another profession. It's very, very possible, but I would do so slowly because Knight of Pentacles is the card we chose for you. Although I'd love to have chosen a brighter, more fiery card, Knight of Pentacles is telling you, stay the course. Be flexible, because the Knights are flexible, right? But also be grounded. This is the only Knight in the tarot that is not moving. He is stationary, right? So the advice for you, probably because you have this Jupiter square going on, is to take it slow. It's better to not have something happen sometimes than to have something happen that is not good, right? So you want to be grounded but flexible. No sudden moves, I would say, with this new moon, especially with this square, especially in terms of your job, your career, right? I would say with Knight of Pentacles, if you're looking to change your career, you need to make sure you're doing it in a very careful, methodical way. And a part of that may mean setting up your current employer for success, right? Making sure everybody's taken care of, taking the long view. Remember, it's a Libra new moon and you're a Libra or a Libra rising. So you want to make sure that you are leading the charge when it comes to balance and to taking other people's feelings into consideration. Say you want a break and you want more time to yourself. Okay, well, professionally, what are your coworkers going to do? Who's going to be left carrying the bag, right? So be practical, be diligent, and I would say make moves strategically. Feel as if you can enjoy all the time in the world planning and maybe even processing. I would say processing might be key because with this Knight, that might be what you need to do to have a few days to mull things over, to think about things before you actually ring a bell, right? Because with the Knight of Pentacles, it's all about being flexible, but also grounded and not too quick to make any sudden moves. So Scorpio, this new moon is in your 12th house of behind the scenes quiet activity. Although I don't know how behind the scenes or quiet you're going to be with Mars and Mercury both conjunct in your sign. With Mars in your sign, you're probably going to be having a lot of energy. And with Mercury in your sign, you're probably going to be having a lot to say. So it's a little bit incongruous that you have a 12th house new moon, which is all about privacy, taking it down a notch, getting rest. But you may be able to balance it, right? Quiet renewal is the name of your game this new moon, irrespective of Mars and Mercury being in your sign. Release control, restore faith, and align your inner world with peace. So although you have Mars in your sign and Mercury in your sign, making you physically active, right? Feeling more energized and with Mercury, more talky, more chit-chatty, you can still achieve that sense of inner peace. That's the key with the 12th house transit. You want to make sure that you're very much at peace and have nothing that you're worrying about. You want to make sure that you have peace of mind and that you feel nice and quiet internally, even if you have a lot of things going on externally, right? Now, Jupiter is in your 9th house, and that is a house that Jupiter is very, very happy in. So it's all about expansion and growth and how can you do this and how can you do that. But Jupiter in the 9th might be too much of a good thing, right? You may have lots of ideas, lots of plans, but you may need to ground yourself to see what is actually realizable. Further, with this square between your 9th and your 12th, you may have a lot of ideas about how you want to expand, but there may be some subconscious limitation that's blocking you. Maybe you want to expand in this way, but on a subconscious level, you're fearful of X. So you're going in two different directions, right? This new moon is a great opportunity for you to align your subconscious with your aspirations. Your subconscious being the 12th house and your aspirations being the 9th. So channel inspiration into structured learning or long-term vision. With that Jupiter in the 9th, it needs some kind of grounding. So if you're looking to go on a trip, it's a matter of starting to save for the trip, planning the trip, thinking about the trip, outlining it, right? If you want to go to school, another 9th house thing, say you want to go back to school, you got to, what is the financial plan? What are you going to do for work? Are you going to work, right? What does this mean in terms of your schedule? If you want to start a business, even more so, right? What does it look like? Because entrepreneurship is part of the 9th house, as is publishing or broadcasting. So there may be a publishing or broadcast project, and you need to get the structure down pat first, right? But with the 12th house and the 9th house, the big thing for you is to honor your need for privacy. And if you have any projects that you can work on alone behind the scenes, well, you're golden. Because with Mercury and Mars in your sign and the new moon in the 12th, it's really going to be best for behind the scenes activity. The card chosen for you is Page of Wands. So this page, he's learning how to become the king. He's learning how to see the big vision and implement what it is that he wants to achieve, right? But now he's in this page state, and so are you. So this is about a new passion, something new that is coming into your life that's going to really light you up and bring joy. So follow your excitement like a breadcrumb trail, and don't be afraid to try something new. If there's something that's really exciting to you, irrespective of your age or your commitment or your job, follow what has heart and meaning. Follow your passion, because the passion that you allow yourself to explore and experience, well, the sparks from that can hit the other areas of your life and make them even more wonderful, right? They can empower you on multiple levels. So think about what really excites you. And then with that 12th house, that new moon in the 12th house, really imagine what it looks like implementing it, right? Visualize how you may be expressing yourself differently. So I'd say overall, with Page of Wands and the transits that you have going on, it's about really clocking what lights you up, what inspires you, what excites you, but then also making sure you're working out the kinks in that 12th house. Like, do you feel safe to express yourself? Do you believe that you're going to be okay if you follow your passion, right? So work on fine-tuning what's going on in the subconscious in order for you to be as passionate and as aspirational as possible as you build things that are going to be new, because you're going to be building something new when the new moon is in your sign, and that's November. So you want to allow yourself to really work out the kinks now, right? You want to make sure that whatever it is that you want to achieve, whatever you aspire, that you believe that it's possible, that you believe it's likely to happen, because your expectation is going to determine your results. So you want to make sure you're expectant for all those good things that you want. So Sagittarius, this new moon is really cool for you. It's an 11th house new moon. The 11th house has to do with your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, your ideals, your community, your friends. The 11th house asks, why not? Why can't I do this? Somebody else has done it, right? So you want to give yourself that permission slip, so to speak, to dream big and to implement your vision. Make it happen, right? Further, the 11th house has to do with other people, your associates, your community. So you could have some new social connections that actually help you implement your hopes, dreams, wishes, and ideals, right? You might be able to really build a new community around you or join a community during this period. But you want to balance belonging with individuality. You want to make sure that you're still being true to yourself, right? Because we do have Jupiter in your 8th house. So the 8th house is all about your boundaries, right? And what you desire, what you want in a lot of respects, right? It's about power, the power you have and the power you give away. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable with what you're giving away to a friend or even a group, and then you have strong boundaries, right? I would say one problem that could be with the 8th house and 11th house square that we have going on this lunation for you is that the group is requiring you to go against something that doesn't feel right. So you may need to set a boundary with a friend or a group. The 8th house also has to do with joint finances. When you're putting your energy with other people, either investing, a joint investment, or it could be sex, or it could be emotion, right? It's bringing two things together. So joint finances or emotional bonds may test your limits. So you got to make sure that you're aware of your comfort and make sure that you're saying, no, I don't feel comfortable about going there. I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't want to do this. I'm not doing this, etc. Boundaries are going to be really, really helpful for you. In addition to setting boundaries, the 8th house is also about letting go of boundaries. Maybe you've been too tight. Maybe you've been so tight that you squeak and you need to give a little. You need to give some of your power away because you're so powerful, right? But you want to give deeply, as you're prone to do, Sagittarius, but wisely. You want to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a compromising position. With that 11th house, there could be a hope or a dream or a goal that requires a big investment, another meaning of the 8th house. So you want to make sure that you're determining what is best for you. And the card chosen for you is Death, which is really interesting because that's aligned with the 8th house, where Jupiter is in your chart. And the Death card is all about boundaries, those that you set and those that you dissolve. But it also is about letting go of something that is no longer working for you. It could be an old dream. It could be an old identity. It could be somebody that's playing small. And you're like, you know what? I love him or her, but I have to let them go. I got to step into my own power, right? But the Death card is saying be flexible, but definitely be ready to step into a new world. If you were to achieve your highest hope, dream, wish, or goal, well, that's going to be a death, right? That's going to be the ending of one part of your life and the new beginning of another. So I would say with this aspect and this card that you really want to allow yourself to think about your highest aspirations and what you need to cut out or what you need to end in order to make them more of a reality. And if it's a matter of just saying goodbye to the past, in which you did not go after what it is that you want, that you weren't going after your hopes, dreams, wish, your goals, that could be a great way of going about it. But with that square, you just got to make sure that you're gentle on yourself because you're probably going to have to make some kind of investment or set some kind of boundary. So just make sure that you're going with the flow, but not pushing yourself so hard that you later retract, right? You don't want to go too far. You want to allow yourself to have a proper outlet for your energies so then you can make decisions really clearly without all of that emotion, right? So express yourself as best as you can. You may have an emotional release during this transit. That might be really good, a really good cry. So then you're able to get clear. None of that nonsense is in the way. You've let it go. And now you're ready to really see, okay, this is my hope. This is my dream. This is the community I have or the one that I want. And this is what I need to change in order to enhance all of those. So Capricorn, this new moon in Libra is hitting your 10th house. That's the house of career and honors and how the world sees you. House of reputation, the house that your sign is aligned with. So this is a big deal for you. It's an angular transit. So there's a new beginning for you professionally. This is super exciting. So career and public life get a graceful reset because this new moon is in Libra and Libra is very graceful. So you're going to probably have a new beginning in your career. And what I love about it is that it's probably going to be graceful and gentle. So this is a great time for you to really plant seeds and to say, this is where I want to be long term. This is my 10-year plan. As a 10th house person and a 10th house transit and being a Capricorn, those long-term plans are really good. That's where you really shine, is when you take the long view and say, okay, well, what does my future look like and what do I need to do? What steps do I need to take in order to reach that long-term goal? Lead through diplomacy, not pressure. Meaning, when we have a new moon in the 10th house, there's a desire to move ahead really, really quickly to get that next opportunity. But you want to make sure you're doing it with a sense of ease, maybe a sense of divine nonchalance. Because there's that desire to get ahead. There's a sense of wanting to pressure other people, to steamroll over other people in order to get what you want, to achieve your ends. And I would say with the Libra new moon, that is not the way to go. You want to make sure that you're being gentle, that you have time, that you're not rushing, that you're not pressuring other people. I'd also say this is true with yourself. You don't want to push yourself too hard. Now, we have Jupiter making a square to this new moon in your 7th. So Jupiter in your 7th house means that you're so blessed this year with partnerships. There's so much going on. In fact, you might have multiple business partners or multiple best friends, right? There might be a lot of partners that you have, or maybe you are, maybe you have a lot of people you partner with on the work front, right? And that's really good. They're going to help you to expand and grow, but you want to make sure that you're being realistic when it comes to your partnerships. There might be a partner that's saying, we should do this and we should do that. And you're adding everything up in your head. You're like, I don't think that we can do this. So you want to make sure that if your partner is feeling really expansive, well, keep positive, but also realistic. Can we really achieve all of this without putting ourselves in a compromising position, right? Mutual growth requires shared restraint. So you may be really excited about a partner or something going on with a partnership, but again, you want to make sure that you are not pushing things and not going too fast too soon. The card chosen for you is the Lover's card. So this is about dialogue and debate. I would say with the new moon in your 10th, this is a great time for you to converse with other people. Say you're looking to make a career move. This is a great time to talk to somebody who is already in that profession, or to do your research, just to read about it, right? But the Lover's card is really suggesting dialogue and debate. Maybe you dialogue with your boss to help you move up in your career at work, or maybe you dialogue with new people, right, that can help get you to where you need to go. Especially dialogue with your partner, because there is some kind of strain between your career and your 7th house. This could be a job that takes you away from your partner on a regular basis. Or it could be a matter of your partner needs you, and that's making your career suffer, right? So you need to make sure that you're balancing things. I also would say with Jupiter in the 10th, there actually could be some good things that come out of that as well. Your partner could help you land a new career, or could help you further along in your career. But with the Lover's card, the big thing is dialogue, debate, and remember that excellence begins with the choice. You just choose, right? You choose to be happy. You choose excellence. You choose to make sure you're doing a good job, etc., right? So just keep that in mind, that what you're going through right now is going to require a lot of choices, and the more relaxed you are and the more you are at peace and the better you feel good and present in your body, the better decisions you're going to make. So although you may be feeling very ambitious, All that glitters is not gold around this time with this Jupiter square. So take your time, do your reading, do your research, talk it out, and allow yourself to make sure you're making decisions based on what it is that you know, not just possibilities. So Aquarius, this should be a really cool new moon for you. It's hitting your ninth house of the higher mind. It pertains to expansion and growth, foreign travel, publishing, entrepreneurship, broadcast. It's all about expansion. How can you expand your worldview? And how can you also expand in the world? Let other people experience you as you experience more of the world. So there's probably going to be new goals or studies this new moon that lead to fresh inspiration and real, true, long-lasting meaning for you and your life and your purpose. So this is a wonderful new moon for you to get out of your comfort zone, to expand and grow, and to really think about how you can experience more of the world and how the world can experience more than you. Maybe that means that you lean into your entrepreneurship. Maybe you write a book. Maybe you sell a song, whatever. But you want to make sure that your energy is expanding and going around the world however it can. Even literally, you may decide to take a trip to a foreign land. And I would encourage you, if you feel excited about going someplace, please go. Now, the trick this new moon is with Jupiter in the 6th house. Now, that is going to bring you a lot of blessings when it comes to your daily regime, maybe even your health, or plenty of work, that's for sure. But with this square, your big ambitions in your 9th house may meet daily limits. So the 6th house has to do with the nuts and bolts of your daily operations. It's the things that we have to do to keep things running. We have to take care of our health. We have to go to work. We got to maintain good habits, right? So while you're feeling really aspirational and I want to go here and I want to do this, it's sort of like the rubber meets the road with that 6th house, because it's like, oh no, well, you got work. You can't do that. You got this responsibility. You have to do that. So you got to balance your lofty plans with practical habits that sustain your growth. I would say that with this 9th house, 6th house thing, you can't do it all. So in order for you to go after your lofty dreams or goals or visions, you got to make sure that your house is clean. You got to make sure that your responsibilities are taken care of, that you hired a sitter, right? If you have kids, right? So you got to think about what you can do to have the best of both worlds. And really that might mean hiring other people. Also, if you have these ambitions, these 9th house ambitions, it might be a good idea with Jupiter in your 6th to really think about, okay, well, what do I need to do incrementally every day in order to manifest this vision? Because with that 6th house square, you're probably not going to get it done in one fell swoop. You're going to have to probably really mind the details. That being said, the card that we get for you is King of Wands, and that's not a very detail-oriented card. I'd say it's much more 9th house than 6th. But the King of Wands exists through what he creates. He is a visionary. He sees the completely empty room, walls white, and then is able to visualize how he wants it to look. And then, most likely, he'll hire somebody else to make sure that everything gets in that room so it looks the way that he wants. But he's a visionary. So the King of Wands is saying, get your vision intact. Like, what is the big idea? What is the vision? What's the greatest case scenario, right? Back up a little bit and allow yourself to really think about what you would create if you could create anything. And with that Jupiter in that 6th, you may want to hire somebody to help you out, or you may want to just make sure that you're grounded and you're allowing yourself to drill down to the details and those things that you have to do that lead you to where you need to go, right? Like what do you have to do? What are those small steps you have to make on a regular basis that is going to lead to your big goal being achieved, your big dream being realized. And with King of Wands, what I would say is you also want to visualize your habits. Like, what do you think you do on a regular basis? What do you think you could do on a regular basis that is inevitably going to lead to your achievement, right? So you want to utilize this King of Wands, not just for the big picture, what you can achieve in life, but you also want to use King of Wands to really look at, well, what does this look like daily? What are the incrementals, right? What are the milestones, right? What do we got to do in order to make this real? And last but never least, my fishies. Happy new moon in Libra, Pisces. This one, well, it may be a little intense. It is hitting your 8th house. So although it's a new moon, it is also about letting go. The 8th house has to do with rebirth, death, transformation. In a lot of respects, it has to do with boundaries. The boundaries that you set with other people, but also the boundaries that you dissolve, right? Sex is an 8th house thing, and we dissolve boundaries when we have sex, right? So deep transformation begins this new moon for you, Pisces, and power is the name of the game. How can you be more empowered? Because that's the whole point of an 8th house transit. How can you be the most empowered version of yourself? So you're going to be able to reclaim your power through emotional honesty and soulful release. So you want to make sure that you're being real and raw with, first and foremost, yourself about what you desire, what you want, what bothers you, what you love, what you want your life to be like. And you also want to make sure that you're letting things go that no longer serve you. If you're still mad, for instance, well, this is a great new moon for you to allow yourself to release any grudges, any resentment, and start fresh. I mean, if you're going to forgive and forget, you may as well under a new moon in Libra that's hitting your 8th house, right? Because it's not for the other person. You're not letting the person get away with anything. By forgiving people who have crossed you, you're creating more abundance in your life, sometimes almost instantaneously. So it's a gift you're giving yourself. You don't want to also be tied to this person in your next lifetime. So if you have a strong feeling, if you don't forgive and let go, you might see this person in your next life. That would really suck. So do whatever you can to soulfully release. It might be a matter of purging or crying. You know, when you're having 8th house transit, you might be going through so many feelings that you don't even know what you're feeling, right? So let it all out, have a release. Meanwhile, though, there is a lot of fun here with the Jupiter in your 5th house. It's probably a good idea to, keep things light and to have fun under this influence. I would say with the 8th house making a square with your 5th, it might be a matter of you need to not get too carried away in fantasy. Although that Jupiter in the 5th house is making you really creative and really imaginative and really fun-loving, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself limits, that you're giving yourself rules. You'll really do well under an 8th house transit if you're able to give yourself rules and restrictions, right? It also might be a matter of you got to learn how to determine where you're going to invest, how much you're going to invest in pleasurable pursuits. For instance, you might be dating somebody and they're great, but you don't want to invest in them necessarily, right? Because the 5th house is about play and pleasure and joy. A 5th house partner does not a relationship partner make, right? Or it might be a matter of there's some kind of creative project that's going to require some investment. Maybe it's of time, maybe it's a boundary with something else, maybe it's ending something else. So there may be a little bit of a challenge there, but you want to make sure that you're creating. That's the key with the 5th house. And you're creating with purpose and loving with intention. So you want to make sure that you're loving things as much as possible while you're also going through this metamorphosis. So it's a balancing act. You want to keep your heart light as you're, purging and letting go. Now, the card we chose for you is so apropos, 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is the completion. It's an ending, but it's also a new beginning because the cross sum of 10 is 1. So this is like happily ever after. You've reached this emotional state, this peak of emotion. And now it's a matter, you got to let that emotion go and start a new beginning with Ace of Cups. So there'll be new love around you and new things to explore, new forms of inspiration, but you got to have the finale now with the 10 of Cups. Because you're probably going to be feeling so much. 10 of Cups is a lot of water. And the 8th house is a very emotional house. So there's a lot of emotion here. Release the energy, release the emotion, maybe pour it into a creative project. And you may also want to think about what is going to be your happily ever after. Because although you're reaching an emotional peak and you're starting a new beginning, what is the end goal? What's the new goal look like at the end once you've achieved it? Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope this was helpful for everyone. Check out my website, psychicsun.com, if there's anything I can do for you, and I will see you soon. Bye.